Feedback Learnex. English forever.
Welcome everyone to this week's edition of Feedback Learnex. We're here at an awesome restaurant called Contigo. It's located in Reforma near our Reforma branch, which is located on Varsovia 23. Today we're going to talk about tourism, touristic destinations that are located in the Far East and everything that has to do with those locations. Mr. Juliat, how are you doing today?
Hello, Ms. Marilyn. I'm very happy to be here. Hello, everybody. My name is Juliat Santini, and we are super excited to be here. Today we are talking about awesome places that you can visit when you visit Asia. There are very famous places and touristic destinations in Asia. So that's what we will be talking about, so stay with us.
So, Mr. Juliat, tell us a little bit about what you're going to talk about this segment.
Well, today I will talk about Hong Kong, which is an awesome place, a very interesting place. It's one of the most densely populated places all around the world. It used to be a British colony, but now it's an independent Chinese territory. And there are many places that you can visit there. It's a very interesting place because it combines the traditional culture of China, but at the same time it has beautiful skyscrapers, a lot of buildings, and it's a very modern city where you can go shopping, you can visit cultural and artistic places, and you can also take pictures of beautiful places that there are in there. Also, you can see a wonderful harbor where you can see many skyscrapers, and there are a lot of places to visit.
Super interesting about Hong Kong. I've never had the pleasure of visiting, but I know that my father, who was in the military, actually visited Hong Kong and says that there is a lot of, it's like a cultural mecca, but it's also a large, small town, if that makes sense. It's a very not underpopulated. It's a town that has a lot of urbanness, it has a lot of buildings, it has a lot of skyscrapers, but it also has a lot of humility. Like a lot of town people, a lot of people move there. It's similar to Mexico City in that sense, that a lot of people move from the outside to that city specifically. So I think it's really interesting that there's something similar in the Orient that we could relate to that's similar to what's here in Mexico City. Super interesting topic. I'm going to talk next about Tibet. Tibet is a city that it was an empire. It started off as an empire. It's in the center of that region, and it is essentially very unknown but often studied. So the reason that Tibet is so interesting or has become such a touristic spot is because there's so much culture and religion that has to do with Buddhism located in Tibet. There are monks, there are people, monks mostly, that populate Tibet that they don't talk, they take vows of silence, of chastity, all these things, and so it's something that people want to research, people want to study. So people go on excursions, there's tours. Initially, Tibet was a very agricultural center for that region and that area, and so everything relied on rice, on vegetables, on bison, on different animals that are specific for that region, and now it's just blowing up with tourism. And so it's a very interesting spot to go to kind of know more about Buddhism and that religion. So this is super interesting. I think that our members and everyone that's watching could talk for moments and moments and research, but this is all we have for this segment. Stay tuned. Next segment, we're going to talk a little bit more about tourism in the East.
5001-9642 Feedback Learnex.
¿Qué es Learnex?
Workouts,
Interbranches,
massive activities,
Learning Tours y Learnex.
special activities.
Descubre,
Vive.
siente en inglés en Learnex. Aprende inglés en Learnex. Inglés para siempre.
5001-9642 Feedback Learning.
So hello to our feedback Learnex of this week. Remember that today we are talking about touristic destinations in Asia. And right now it's a turn to talk about one of the most important countries all around the world, one of the most emblematic and famous countries, which is Japan. One of the most visited places and cities in Japan is the city of Kyoto. Actually, Kyoto is one of the most famous cities all around the world, and is the #1 visited place in Japan. This is the most important touristic destination in Japan, in this country. So, this city is located 2 hours away from the capital, which is Tokyo. But in order to get there, you need to travel on the bullet train. That's the only way that you can get there. And, well, there are many ways to get there, but that's the most important one. And, well, this used to be the capital of this country, of the Japanese Empire, for over 1,000 years. So this is a place full of history, full of emblematic and important places. And in this place, you can find so many places to visit, so many interesting sites, that it's not enough to be there for 1 week or even for 1 month. There are many places to visit there. So one of the most important, I'm going to tell you about them, is the Fushimi Inari Taisha. This is the temple to the goddess Inari. This is the goddess of fertility. Okay, another important place there is the Kinkaku-ji, which is a palace that is placed over a pond. And if you visit this place, you can get very beautiful images, take wonderful pictures, and get wonderful memories. So now it's the turn of Marilyn to talk about the next touristic destination. What's up, Marilyn?
Thanks, Mr. Hudiat. So I'm going to talk right now about the Great Wall of China. As we all know, it's a very popular monument. It's that monument or that structure that you can see all the way from space. It's one of the wonders of the world. And it's interesting because it's built, but you would think that it's a wall that is continuous, that has no break-offs or sections that are missing, but it actually isn't. So the Great Wall was built because it needed, China felt, or the empires at that time, the wall is more than 2,000 years old, the empires at that time felt that they needed protection, and that the only way to protect themselves from nomad groups that were going around at that time and stealing and killing off people was to build fortifications. And in that time, the fortification was a wall. So this wall was built, but it was built in sections. There's actually about 9 or more total pieces that make up the Great Wall of China. And it runs from east to west, so from the left to the right, if you're thinking, and it kept them safe from people in the north, or from nomads in the north. Now, a couple of interesting facts is that it's more than 21,000 kilometers long, if you were to put it all together. And it's very interesting because it's one of the most visited wonders of the world, second to Peru, to Machu Picchu. And people love going there because it's not only an experience, but they say that they can feel and sense like a real spirit of combat and fighting and angst among that area when they go to visit. And another interesting point is that the Great Wall has not only cultural value, but it also has entertainment value. There's a lot of interesting things that you can go see and do there, but there's a lot to read up on because it's a really large and old and interesting artifact. So check it out and let us know, and don't forget, hold on, we'll be right back.
So that was a wonderful tour through many different wonderful places in Asia. I'm very happy to be sharing this with all of our members. And well, I'm very sad to come to the end of this episode of Feedback Learnex, but we will see you next week with a lot of surprises.
Yes, Mr. Juliet, that's correct. Thanks you guys for joining us in this edition of Feedback Learnex. Stay tuned. This next edition of Feedback Learnex comes out next Thursday, 9:15 p.m. This is the last one for this bimester with the topic of Far East, a different way of life. For the next bimester, we're going to have a lot of surprises for you guys, a lot of interesting topics, so don't miss it. Bye, guys.
Bye.